are not alone. If I were to make that statement only 50 years ago, I am sure I would have a lot of laughs. But today, I would imagine that most of my viewers might rebuke such a statement with, duh, and response, since the popular consensus today is that something is out there. The Holy Bible, with its oversimplification surrounding one God, one people, and of course one creation, was designed for an older evolutionary period in our history. This time involved people that were largely illiterate, that could not hold on to complex details due to the limitations of their past oral traditions, and of course, education. Today, with a majority of the world both being literate and now having the ability to interconnect with the rest of the world through the internet, we are living in a far more complex and enlightened period of time. The Urantia Book presents us with the knowledge that there are trillions of inhabited worlds across the 7 superuniverses. In fact, we are a part of the 7th and newest superuniverse being completed at this time, arriving a little late in the evolutionary race compared to the rest of the older superuniverse brethren. Many worlds outside our superuniverse have already made it to the era of light and life, which is best described as heaven on their planets of origin. For the most part, our constellation fathers, or those that are most high, forbid advanced knowledge on more advanced planets that are near to us due to having aforementioned knowledge prematurely and artificially speeding up or skewing our own development. That is, of course, with the exception of paper 72 in the Urantia Book that describes a culture on a nearby planet that is a small step ahead of our own, belonging to our own local system of Satania. To give you a little scope as to how big a small system is, they typically consist of around 1,000 worlds or planets. By the way, our entire system has been quarantined due to participation in the Lucifer Rebellion. And this planet we will be breaking apart today has also had their material suns and planetary prince default as part of said rebellion. Before we begin, it should be specified that the entire planet is not, I repeat, is not more advanced than we are. We will be majorly speaking of a single continent on the planet that is roughly the size of Australia, that supposedly is a step ahead of where we are right now. Culture. The civilization in question is isolated from the rest of the planet, consisting of roughly 140 million people during the publication of the Urantia Book. The population is racially diverse, with a predominance of blue and yellow races, and a higher proportion of violet-skinned individuals compared to the quote-unquote white race on planet Earth, also known as Urantia. If you are new to the channel, the Life Carrier video will likely describe these races on our planet a bit further. But for simplicity's sake, we know that Native Americans were known as the quote-unquote red man due to the color of their skin. This pigmentation becomes more prominent with older ancestry as we go further back in history, and typically was accompanied with other cultural and developmental advantages and, of course, disadvantages. A striking aspect of this Australian-sized society is that although these races are not fully blended into a singular racial identity, they coexist peacefully and fraternize in ways that are harmonious and socially acceptable. This contrasts with Earth's racial history, which has been fraught with tensions, discrimination, and conflict over racial differences. On this neighboring planet, despite the incomplete racial integration, there is a significant level of social unity, with various races collaborating and living together without the social barriers that have historically divided Earth's human races, such as religion, politics, and of course, resource management. Furthermore, the people on this planet live to an average of 90 years old, which is a notable 15% higher than the average lifespan on Earth's population at the time of the Urantia Book's publication. This is a remarkable achievement, possibly due to advanced healthcare, environmental conditions, and a culture focused on well-being, making another point of divergence from Earth's average life expectancy. Self-sufficiency. One of the most interesting aspects of this society is its self-sufficiency. The civilization has access to abundant natural resources and utilizes scientific techniques that allow them to sustain themselves without relying on imports from neighboring nations. This contrasts with Earth's globalized world, where trade and the exchange of goods and services across borders are essential for the survival of many nations. With respect to half-truths here, you'll remember my Heaven on Earth video that the Urantia Book suggests that creature development receives a catalyst when there is one world religion, currency, mixed race, and government. However, as a friendly reminder, this is just a regional society on an alien planet. Again, the planet as a whole is not more advanced than we are, and just this region we're speaking about takes things a step further than we do. The civilization's geographic location plays a pivotal role in its self-sufficiency. The continent is blessed with high mountains situated centrally, which receive heavy rainfall for much of the year. These mountains facilitate water power generation and the irrigation of the continent's arid western regions. The inhabitants have mastered scientific methods to optimize water usage and create a thriving economy without depending on outside resources. This natural advantage allows for greater autonomy and reduces the risks associated with trade dependence, which is a common vulnerability on Earth. On Earth, many nations are heavily reliant on imports for critical resources, such as energy, raw materials, and even food in some cases. This interdependence can create political and economic tensions, particularly when natural disasters, political instability, or supply chain disruptions occur. In contrast, the civilization described in the Urantia Book has created a sustainable society that can endure without the need for external aid or imports, which is an impressive example of how societies might evolve into a self-sustaining, resource-abundant environment. Monarchy to republic. The political history of this neighboring planet is a fascinating one, mirroring Earth's own tumultuous political evolution in some ways, but diverging in others. The civilization underwent a long period of political instability, evolving from tribal governance to a series of monarchies, republics, and dictatorships. Over the course of thousands of years, the government structure fluctuated, with many different forms of leadership arising and collapsing in an almost cyclical fashion. This mirrors Earth's own political history, where many nations have experienced periods of monarchical rule, followed by attempts at republics, democracies, or authoritarian regimes. However, approximately 500 of our years ago, a significant turning point occurred. During a period of intense political turmoil, one of the nation's powerful dictator triumvirs voluntarily abdicated his position. This act of selflessness led to the removal of another, more corrupt ruler, and eventually to the consolidation of power under a single ruler. This marks the beginning of a strong and unified monarchical rule that lasted for over a century. During this time, the civilization developed a powerful charter of liberty that would serve as the foundation for future governance. The transition from monarchy to a representative republic occurred gradually over the course of the last 200 years. The system of governance evolved steadily, with the monarchy eventually becoming symbolic and figurehead only, as the male line of descent ended. This peaceful transition to a republic is a noteworthy achievement compared to many historical revolutions on Earth, where transitions from monarchy or dictatorship to democracy were often violent or chaotic. As a friendly reminder, our supreme ruler of our local universe, Christ Michael, was not elected and was appointed by our eternal Son and earned their absolute power through 7 pastoral missions and literally creating much of our local universe and creature design. Political system. The current political structure of the civilization is a highly sophisticated representative republic, with a unique system of governance that is markedly different from many political systems on Earth. The country is organized into a federation of 100 states, each with significant autonomy. The states elect their governors and legislators for 10-year terms, with no possibility for re-election. This prevents the entrenchment of power in the hands of just a few individuals, promoting a more dynamic and accountable political system. Judges are appointed for life by state governors and must be confirmed by their state legislators, adding an element of continuity and independence to the judicial system. The executive branch of the government is led by a chief executive who is elected for a 6-year term, with no eligibility for re-election unless approved by at least 75 state legislators, which is roughly, again, 75%, right? That's more than a supermajority here in the United States. This ensures that leadership remains fresh and that no single leader can dominate the political landscape for an extended period of time. The chief executive is advised by a super cabinet consisting of all living former chief executives, bringing a wealth of experience to the decision-making process. The legislative branch is unique in that it consists of 3 houses, one representing economic groups such as industrial, professional, and agricultural workers, another for social, political, and philosophical groups, and a 3rd house composed of elder statesmen who provide advisory and regulatory roles. These elder statesmen are nominated by the chief executive, regional leaders, and the heads of the other legislative houses, and their decisions are influential in shaping public opinion and government policy. This multi-layered approach to governance contrasts with many of Earth's systems, where power is often more centralized and less balanced across different sectors of society. Courts. The judicial system on this planet is highly developed, with 2 main divisions: the law courts and the socioeconomic courts. The law courts function as a hierarchical system with local courts, state supreme courts, and the federal Supreme Court, which adjudicates national issues in final appeals. The federal Supreme Court consists of 12 members, all of whom are highly experienced legal professionals. In addition to the traditional law courts, this civilization has created a specialized system of socio-economic courts. These courts handle matters related to family, law, education, and industrial disputes, areas that are critical for maintaining social harmony and economic stability. The existence of these specialized courts ensures that each area of society has a dedicated forum for resolving disputes, which contrasts with Earth's judicial system, where cases related to social, economic, and educational issues are often treated as secondary to criminal and civil law cases. The integration of socioeconomic issues into the judicial system on this planet demonstrates a more holistic approach to governance, in which political, legal, and social factors are all interconnected. Earth's legal systems, while increasingly sophisticated, often treat economic and social matters separately from political decision-making, leading to a disconnect between government policies and the lived experiences of citizens. So in other words, this alien planet of which we are speaking appears to be more proactive with their developmental approach rather than our reactive legal system of case law and dealing with cultural or educational difficulties after they have already become a problem. Brief comparison. The most striking contrast between this alien civilization and Earth systems is the overall balance of power. stability, and self-sufficiency. While Earth's societies are deeply affected by historical conflicts, power struggles, and economic disparities, this neighboring planet has established a system where political power is distributed across multiple levels and branches of government, ensuring that no single individual or group can dominate the system, at least for too long. Additionally, the existence of specialized socioeconomic courts, the role of elder statesmen in guiding public opinion, and the focus on maintaining a self-sustaining, resource-abundant economy are all features that stand in stark contrast to the often chaotic, unequal, and unstable political and economic systems on Earth. This alien race's political system emphasizes sustainability, long-term stability, and inclusivity. Principles that could serve as valuable lessons for Earth as it grapples with its own political, environmental, and social challenges. Conclusion. In conclusion, while this neighboring civilization shares many aspects of humanity's own history, such as the rise and fall of different forms of government, it stands as a model of political and social harmony, sustainability, and advanced legal systems. It demonstrates that with careful stewardship, cooperation, and innovative governance, a society can evolve to be self-sustaining, just, and resilient, even in the face of historical challenges similar to those faced by Earth, again also known as Urantia. As I quote the movie The Patriot, it is true what Benjamin Martin said when he indicated that
an elected legislature can trample a man's rights as easily as a king can.
In the Urantia Book, there is a theme associated with our planetary prince, who is projected towards becoming our planetary sovereign once our planet is established in light and life. Our system sovereign is selected by Christ Michael and serves for roughly 50,000 years of Urantia time. Our superuniverse master spirit is currently overseeing their reign for our current age and appears to be appointed by the infinite spirit. When it comes to other matters in our local universe, you will see panels of 3 or more that are typically representative of divine and creature characteristics, representative of a great majority of other healthy forms of governments, formulating a very eclectic governance and rule of our master universe. Perhaps that's the point. When a society wants multiple vantage points associated with a response such as justice, we want varying perspectives and vantage points. When it comes to the administrative overseeing of planets, constellations, and superuniverses, it appears in the Urantia Book that a trustworthy and capable ruler is appointed. If the Urantia Book is right, and our personality was originally created by our Heavenly Father, along with the breath of life originating from the Infinite Spirit, then I suppose all of us are alien to our home planet of Urantia, and have more similarities with our neighbors than one might think. I will see you on the next video.